Brianna Kupfer was a bright, ambitious young woman with a promising future ahead of her. A UCLA graduate student, Brianna was known for her kindness, intelligence, and a deep passion for design. On January 13, 2022, her life was tragically cut short in a senseless act of violence that shocked not only the city of Los Angeles, but the entire nation. In today's video, we'll be diving into the heartbreaking case of Brianna Kupfer, examining the events leading up to that fateful day, exploring the background of the suspect involved, and discussing the aftermath that left a community in mourning. This case is a stark reminder of the unpredictability of life and the growing concerns surrounding public safety in our communities. It's a story that needs to be told, not only to honor Brianna's memory, but also to bring awareness to the broader issues that this tragedy has highlighted. By the end of this video, we hope to shed light on the details of this case, provide a better understanding of the impact it has had on those who knew and loved Brianna, and explore the larger conversation it has sparked about crime and justice in our society. Before we dive into today's true crime story, I want to take a moment to invite you to like this video and subscribe to our channel. If you're passionate about uncovering the details behind real-life mysteries and learning more about the stories that shape our world, you're in the right place. By subscribing, you'll stay updated on our latest content and help us bring more compelling stories to light. Your support means a lot to us, and it helps ensure that these important stories continue to be told. Now let's get into it. Brianna Kupfer was more than just a name in the headlines. She was a vibrant young woman with dreams, passions, and a life filled with potential. Born and raised in Pacific Palisades, California, Brianna grew up in a loving family, surrounded by friends who cherished her warm spirit and infectious smile. Brianna was a dedicated student with a deep interest in design and architecture, which led her to pursue a degree in architectural design at UCLA. Her passion for creating beautiful spaces was evident in her work, and she had a bright future ahead of her in the world of design. Beyond her academic achievements, Brianna was known for her compassion and kindness. Friends and family often described her as someone who genuinely cared for others, always willing to lend a helping hand or offer a kind word. At the time of her tragic death, Brianna was working at Croft House, a luxury furniture store in the Fairfax district of Los Angeles. She enjoyed her job, which allowed her to explore her love for design while interacting with clients and contributing to the store's creative environment. Her role at Croft House was more than just a job. It was a stepping stone towards a career she was truly passionate about. Those who knew Brianna remember her as a beacon of positivity, someone who was always striving to make the world a little more beautiful through her work and her actions. Her loss is deeply felt, not only by her family and friends, but by everyone who had the privilege of knowing her. Brianna's life, though tragically cut short, continues to inspire those who knew her, reminding us of the impact one person can have on the lives of many. January 13, 2022, began as a typical day for Brianna Kupfer. She arrived at Croft House, where she was working that day, ready to assist customers and manage the store's daily operations. Brianna was alone in the store for most of the day, handling tasks as she often did. Around 1:30 p.m., a man entered the store. Brianna didn't immediately sense any danger, but something about the customer seemed off. Trusting her instincts, she sent a text to a friend mentioning that a man in the store was giving her a bad vibe. Unfortunately, this message would be one of the last she would ever send. Not long after, in an act of senseless violence, Brianna was attacked and fatally stabbed. The entire ordeal happened quickly, with the attacker leaving the scene as calmly as he had entered. He walked out of the store and into the Los Angeles streets, blending back into the city as if nothing had happened. It wasn't until a customer entered the store later that Brianna's body was discovered. The horrific scene shocked the customer, who immediately called 911. The authorities arrived shortly after, but it was already too late. Brianna was gone. Surveillance footage from the area played a crucial role in identifying the suspect. The man who attacked Brianna was captured on video as he walked through the store, committed the crime, and exited without hesitation. This footage would soon be released to the public, sparking a citywide manhunt for the individual responsible for this brutal act. The events of that day left Brianna's family, friends, and the Los Angeles community reeling. What should have been an ordinary day turned into a nightmare, with a young woman's life tragically taken in an instant. As the investigation continued, the search for justice began, with many hoping that the person responsible for such a heinous act would soon be brought to account. The investigation into Brianna Kupfer's murder quickly zeroed in on a suspect, Shawn Laval Smith. As details about Smith's past emerged, a troubling picture began to take shape. Shawn Laval Smith, a 31-year-old man, was no stranger to law enforcement. He had a lengthy criminal history that included charges ranging from vandalism to assault. His life had been marked by instability, with multiple run-ins with the law across several states. Despite his criminal record, he had often been released on bail or served only brief sentences, a pattern that raised questions about the criminal justice system's handling of individuals with repeated offenses. On the day of Brianna's murder, Smith appeared to be wandering the streets of Los Angeles. Surveillance footage captured his movements before and after the attack, showing him calmly walking through the area, seemingly without a care in the world. This footage was crucial in identifying him as the suspect, and it was widely circulated as authorities launched a manhunt to bring him to justice. The search for Smith was intense. Law enforcement agencies across Los Angeles were on high alert, and the public was urged to be vigilant. Posters with his image were plastered throughout the city, and the case gained significant media attention. For days, the community lived in fear, knowing that a dangerous individual was still at large. Finally, on January 19, 2022, nearly a week after Brianna's murder, Shawn Laval Smith was apprehended in Pasadena, California. He was spotted by a bystander who recognized him from the widely circulated images and immediately contacted the police. Smith was arrested without incident, bringing a sense of relief to a city that had been on edge since the crime. Despite his arrest, the motive behind the attack remains unclear. There was no known connection between Smith and Brianna, leading many to believe that this was a random act of violence. The senselessness of the crime has only deepened the tragedy, leaving everyone who hears Brianna's story to wonder what could drive someone to commit such a horrific act. As the legal process moved forward, the focus shifted to ensuring that justice would be served. For Brianna's family and the community, the arrest of Shawn Laval Smith marked the beginning of a long and painful journey through the court system, with the hope that the person responsible for this devastating loss would be held accountable. After Shawn Laval Smith's arrest, the legal proceedings began to unfold. Smith was charged with murder, a charge that could potentially lead to life in prison without the possibility of parole. As the case moved through the courts, many were left grappling with the senselessness of Brianna Kupfer's death and the broader implications it carried. The legal process has been slow and painstaking, with multiple hearings and legal maneuvers typical of a high-profile murder case. For Brianna's family, each step has been a painful reminder of the tragedy they've endured. They've been vocal in their calls for justice, determined to ensure that the man responsible for taking Brianna's life is held fully accountable. Public reaction to the case has been intense. Brianna's murder sparked widespread outrage, not just in Los Angeles, but across the country. Many were angered by the fact that Shawn Laval Smith, with his extensive criminal history, was free at the time of the crime. This led to renewed debates about the effectiveness of the criminal justice system, particularly in handling repeat offenders. Vigils and protests were held in Brianna's honor, with community members coming together to mourn her loss and demand action to prevent similar tragedies. The outcry wasn't just about seeking justice for Brianna, but also about addressing the broader issues of crime and safety that her death had brought into sharp focus. As the case has progressed, it has continued to draw attention to the challenges faced by cities like Los Angeles in dealing with rising crime rates. Many have called for reforms to the justice system, arguing that more needs to be done to protect the public from individuals with violent histories. Brianna's death has become a symbol of the urgent need for change. While the legal process plays out, her family and supporters remain steadfast in their pursuit of justice, not just for Brianna, but for all victims of senseless violence. The hope is that by shining a light on this case, it will lead to meaningful changes that can help prevent future tragedies. As we wait for the final verdict, the impact of Brianna Kupfer's death continues to be felt far and wide. It's a case that has left an indelible mark on the community and has sparked a conversation that will likely continue long after the court's decision is made. Brianna Kupfer's tragic death has left a lasting impact on her family, friends, and the community at large. For those who knew and loved Brianna, the pain of her loss is immeasurable. She was more than just a victim of a senseless crime. She was a daughter, a sister, a friend, and a bright light in the lives of many. The grief experienced by her loved ones is profound, and they've been left to navigate a world without her in it. In the wake of her death, memorials and tributes have poured in from across the country. People who were touched by Brianna's story, even those who never met her, have come forward to honor her memory. Vigils have been held in her name, where community members gathered to remember Brianna and support her family during this unimaginably difficult time. These tributes serve as a reminder of the positive impact she had on those around her and the void her loss has created. Beyond the personal grief, Brianna's death has also sparked broader discussions about safety, crime, and justice. Her case has highlighted the urgent need for reforms that can help prevent similar tragedies in the future. Some have called for changes to the way the criminal justice system handles repeat offenders, arguing that more needs to be done to protect the public from individuals who pose a threat. In response to these calls for action, there have been discussions about potential policy changes aimed at improving public safety. Advocacy groups have used Brianna's case as a rallying point to push for stronger measures against violent crime, hoping to turn this tragedy into a catalyst for positive change. For Brianna's family, the goal now is to ensure that her legacy lives on, not just through the memories of those who loved her, but also through meaningful actions that can make a difference in the lives of others. They've expressed a desire to see real change come from this tragedy, so that no other family has to endure the pain they're experiencing. As we reflect on the impact of Brianna Kupfer's life and death, it's clear that her story has touched the hearts of many. While nothing can undo the pain of her loss, there is hope that her memory will inspire efforts to create a safer, more just society. Brianna's life may have been cut short, but the love and light she brought into the world will continue to resonate, reminding us all of the importance of cherishing and protecting one another. The tragic death of Brianna Kupfer is a stark reminder of how fragile life can be and how senseless acts of violence can shatter the lives of so many. As we've explored in this video, Brianna was a bright, caring young woman with a future full of promise. Her untimely death has left a deep void in the hearts of her family, friends, and the community. This case has not only brought attention to the dangers that can unexpectedly arise in our everyday lives, but it has also highlighted the shortcomings of the systems designed to protect us. The justice system, which allowed a repeat offender to be on the streets, is now under scrutiny, and many are calling for change. It's a sobering reminder that there's still much work to be done to ensure the safety of our communities. As we close this chapter, we're reminded of the broader issues at play: the importance of reform, the need for vigilance, and the power of community in the face of tragedy. While nothing can bring Brianna back, her story serves as a catalyst for change, a reason to push for a safer society where such senseless acts of violence are less likely to occur. We hope this video has provided you with a deeper understanding of Brianna Kupfer's story, the events surrounding her tragic death, and the ongoing quest for justice. It's a story that demands our attention, not just for the sake of justice for Brianna, but for the future safety of our communities. Thank you for watching and for taking the time to remember Brianna Kupfer. Let her story be a reminder of the work we must continue to do to create a world where such tragedies are less common and where the lives of the innocent are valued and protected. Thank you for joining us as we explored the heartbreaking story of Brianna Kupfer. Her tragic death has left a lasting impact on so many, and it's important that we continue to share her story, both to honor her memory and to advocate for the changes needed to prevent future tragedies. If you found this video informative, please consider subscribing to our channel for more content like this. We cover a range of true crime cases as well as stories that highlight important social issues. By subscribing, you'll stay updated on our latest videos and help us continue to bring these important stories to light. If you haven't already, give this video a thumbs up and share it with others who might benefit from hearing Brianna's story. Your support helps us reach more people and keeps these conversations going. Finally, we encourage you to follow us on social media, where we share updates, engage with our community, and provide additional content related to the cases we cover. Your engagement and feedback mean a lot to us, and we look forward to hearing your thoughts. Once again, thank you for watching. Together, we can ensure that Brianna Kupfer's story and others like it are not forgotten. Let's continue to work towards a safer, more just world for everyone.